The other day, I posted a video on the difference between an impulse and your real bodily truth, and I'll add a link to that video below. It was just a couple days ago, um, and what that brings up for me is, why is it so important to discover the lies we tell ourselves? Why? Why does it matter? As long as we think we're telling the truth. So what I would offer, first of all, I am a born seeker. To truly know myself is built into my guts. It is, I'm sure I have enacted this same kind of seeking, philosophical. I'm sure that it was in my life in other lifetimes too, because the thirst does not stop. It's endlessly interesting to me. It's part of my life's purpose, is to understand me so that I can emerge, be a demonstration of complete humanity, and offer solace or a place and an invitation for you to look at your own, so we can all move the world collectively in a better direction. So why look at our lies? Well, I choose to look at my lies, yes, to know myself as good as I can. But what happens is your mind is so automatically in protection mode. It just is. That's the way it's built. That's the way it's made. And it's important that it be that way. It needs to keep you out of danger. However, it craves comfort and what it deems normal, so much so that it's going to give you a million rationale when you want to make what you know is a positive change for yourself. Even as far as like a codependent relationship that you know isn't good for you and you just can't manage to step out. Well, probably you've got a learned behavior that you learned as a child, that's what love is, or that's what I deserve. So the truth isn't easy to see either. You have to work at it. And you also, when you discover it, you're looking at things that aren't easy to look at. You don't come out like the hero in every story. Very often you're a victim, or very often you're pointing a finger at someone else to deflect. It's not easy to take responsibility for those things that you think, oh, that's just the way I am. No, they're just the lies you tell yourself. And I will tell you that there's several lies that through identification and working through them, their grip is loosened. It's never gone, but it's loosened on me. And that is hugely freeing. Hugely freeing. So I'll give you an example. I grew up as an ugly duckling. All my friends were very blonde and cute, and I didn't fit that mold. I was very dramatic. I was very serious. I wasn't cute at all. And physically, I just didn't have that 80s cute cheerleader thing at all. Now, I just didn't. That just wasn't my way. And so once I got post-marriage, in a marriage that was loving, but when you're together for 25 years, you're a little bit taken for granted both ways. So rediscovering that I was attractive was very intoxicating and freeing, right? So I needed to step out of the shadow of being a wife. I hid behind that title for a long time. But the flip side of coming out is that you get a little bit drunk on attention. And a man's attention, even if I wasn't interested in them, I felt like I owed them like my listening face, because they were giving me attention. And I really was controlled by that addiction to making a splash, to wearing not totally overtly sexy clothes, but definitely unusual, right? And that was all part of me kind of breaking away from my identity of marriage, but it really controlled my behavior for a long time. And I called her the vixen. Uh-oh, the vixen's coming out. I even spoke about her openly. But now the vixens she's still present, but she is not in charge. And I have a lot more autonomy. And also, I'm not courting favor. Like when I speak with a man, I'm not necessarily leading with seduction. I'm leading with exchange. I'm not saying that there's not a male-female thing. Of course there is. That's the way that I'm made. But it doesn't control me. And I'm not begging for attention. Like if I'm not your cup of tea, I'm perfectly okay with that. I don't need to make you like me or approve of me or think I'm pretty. Like, that really was a lot of my own identity. Is my worth was the reflection of my own self in a man's eyes. It really was. And so that's just an example of where I had to do a lot of digging and a lot of soul searching and a lot of shifting that energy and that focus instead of outward. I needed attention coming from the outside to really lavishing myself with love, because what it really turned out to be is, we all have masculine and feminine energies inside us, and my feminine energy was taking care of way too much shit instead of allowing my own masculinity to tell me, I got you, babe. I needed a man to tell me that. And meanwhile, I just needed to love myself in a fatherly, paternal, protective way. And this ties in with actually my video yesterday of, I don't think that it's a man's job to keep a woman safe if they're in a heterosexual coupleship. I think that it is the woman's responsibility to nurture her man inside to make her feel safe. That's what it takes. So, a long-winded explanation of why I think it's worth it to look at your lies. Why I think it's worth it to unearth all this painful shit. Because the other side is freedom. And the other side is literally a higher level of consciousness. And it's worth the struggle. That's what I always want to say. I come on here, I tell you my struggle, I tell you what's coming up for me, but there's glory in there. And it's yours. It's yours for the taking. But you have to be willing to tell the truth. And I will see you tomorrow.